Ladies and gentlemen, Florida State is amazingly embarrassing. It'd be different if they just came out as a team who just lost, their starting quarterback to a hand injury and had to start a redshirt freshman. But that redshirt freshman went on a tear, an escapade of absolute amazingness when it comes to turnovers. Shout out to my Discord in the background. But look, 3 possessions, 3 straight turnovers. Florida State is breaking records as they are the first FBS school this season to go ahead and pull off that immaculate thing. As this game dwindles down and dwindles down, it seems like FSU's not going to be able to do anything here and be able to get past Duke. And we're going to talk about Duke being a complete abysmal offense, but this Florida State team is just so bad. Like this, I feel bad for Duke. Duke's a bad team. Malik Murphy needs more development, and I think at some point at Aaron Riley, they're going to be able to figure it out. But right now, and what we're looking at, this isn't phenomenal. But first off, appreciate y'all watching these videos. Leave a like if you like it, dislike if you don't like it. We're going to do a little bit of a recap. One of y'all's favorite things, FSU versus Duke Devils. And a lot of my guys are FSU fans. Oh, yeah, I told y'all to subscribe if you like college football videos. That's what we do around here. I'm just perplexed. I'm sorry. I was watching this going for Florida State. I had thumbnails ready saying Florida State is back. Brock Glenn's a savior. He had like a sun behind him. He was majestic. He was glowing. I had to throw that thumbnail out. I mean, not really, but you get it. I can't use it, son. It's ridiculous. But it's not his fault because as much as we will talk about Brock Glenn throwing a terrible interception, coming back, getting so excited that he wants to make a play and fumbling again. We can talk about that, but I don't think it needs to be talked about that much because he's a redshirt freshman who doesn't even need to be in that situation. He's a development guy. These receivers, dog, we're going to get deeper into that. The true freshman came in, whatever his name is, I couldn't pronounce his name. He comes in the ball game and he's just dropping seeds. He's just dropping them just wimping it 60-yard, 50-yard airtime, and they're dropping every single ball. This has been a consistent. Florida State fans have came in here and told me how terrible it is that not just Florida State or not just DJ. It wasn't just a DJ thing. This was a team thing, and Florida State showed that. They really did show that. Let's get into some numbers here. Let's get into the box score. As currently, if you're wondering, with this last minute left, they're trying to figure out the third. It was like 2 back-to-back false start calls and then 2 holding calls. It's now 4th and 24 with a minute left. This is the most Florida State thing of all time. When we get into the Twitter and see how reckless them boys are talking about, it's getting real nasty. So let's look at the cold hard facts. Brock Glenn 9 for 19, 110. 2 interceptions. By the way, he was electric on the ground. I think he needs to just be a running back because everything else he was doing. On 4th and 24, he flips it back on the 4th and 24. Okay, that was one of the most exciting plays for Florida State. But that's it. Duke wins officially. 53 seconds. Turnover on downs. Continuing over, looking at the box score, Malik Murphy. Just the most underwhelming performance. Can I talk about Malik Murphy? I'm a Texas fan. I want nothing but the best for Malik Murphy. He's a 4-star. He's an athlete. He's a big body. He's got all the I won't say trimmings, but he's got all the makings to be a great quarterback, especially in a Duke program who's looking to be a consistent winner. And hey, at 6-1 and 2-1 in the conference, I think that's not a bad situation to be in. But I was just very underwhelmed by him. I was underwhelmed by this Duke offense in totality. And you can go look back when we go look at their schedule. We're probably going to look at that again. But Duke has not really – we talk about, Ashton Genty hasn't gone against anybody. Duke hasn't gone against anybody. They haven't had any impressive wins. And they go against Florida State, who is technically one of the worst teams in the entire nation in multiple categories, that's on their 3rd-string quarterback at times here, and whose 2nd-string quarterback threw 2 interceptions and had a fumble. And they beat them by a touchdown at home. I don't. This is gonna be crazy. Duke better not have a number next to them because it's just abysmal. 50% completion percentage, 2.9 average, no touchdowns from Malik Murphy. Nothing exciting from the Duke Blue Devils. The best explosive play was from the defense with that pick six, and then back to back with that what's it called, fumble recovery. Continuing on, the true freshman, 3 for 7, 19 yards. He should have been like 4 for 7 in 2 touchdowns. He was letting them things spray. What's his name? Chromahoke. I don't know how to pronounce that, dog. That sounds like a. I'm not even gonna say that. We're not gonna go there, dog. I'm too small to get canceled. Luke the Mr. K, man. 3 for 7, had amazing balls, and we'll take a look at that a little later. Pause. I say he has amazing balls. You know what I mean. Cam Davis, 14 carries, 63 yards. I was actually very happy from the running game. I know that's surprising to say from FSU, but like I said, Brock Glenn was scooting. And I've always said I like the moxie. I like the kid. I don't think this is Brock Glenn is not a terrible player, dog. I don't think he's a bad player. I think he's a redshirt freshman that doesn't need to be put in the situation. But going against what is seemingly not the most elite team. Again, this is it's a pretty good defense. It's a pretty decent defense. Top 13 in opponents' yards per play, opponents' points per game. Top 12. Number 37 in opponent's yards game. So they're no slouches now. This Duke defense is no slouch. So to put things into perspective, this wasn't a bad defense. Now I had to recheck my numbers. I thought this was a mid defense, but again, Florida State is at the bottom ranking at everything: offensive side, defensive side, bottom of the mid there, right? So I'm not gonna put this on the redshirt freshman Brock Glenn in his third career start. And I'm definitely not going to put it on the true freshman, Luke, who was dropping dimes and seeds and all that. Why did they take him out the game? I don't know. They just took him out. I guess they just wanted to see what they have. I was confused. And then again, Brock Glenn was hot garbage. I don't know. I would have never put him back on the field. Maybe as a running back. Again, 9 carries for 47 yards. Homie averaged 5.2 yards. And understand that when you're a quarterback, like, you get sacked too, so like that takes away your averages or whatever. Homie averaged 5.2 yards on 9 carries. That's not bad. That's not bad, man. That's not bad. Yeah, then the receivers, just for, I wish I could have drop. Are there not drop stats? I wish there were drop stats here, because my Lord, absolutely abysmal. But don't worry, we're gonna get there, man. We're gonna get there. He was 3 for 10, 2 interceptions. That is an amazing way to just be terrible. Oh, we're here. Here it is. Okay, so let's first show you this seed by Mr. Luke, and of course we can't show you the full thing because that clapped me up. But look at he threw it on the logo, son. All right, and he just between 2 defenders, CJ Stroud-esque drops that thing right there where it needs to be in the basket that usually is breaded, and I don't know what happened. The light's too bright. They just don't want to be great, and this is an incomplete pass, of course. Again, like I said, I'm not telling fibs. First FBS team with 3 turnovers on 3 consecutive plays this season. Absolutely phenomenal. Doing it at the halfway point. I had to tweet it just in case they didn't, but then we had the thing. Man, the FSU fans really thought they had it, man. They really thought no DJU meant the world and everything was going to be safe, but they couldn't be farther from the truth. Yeah, man. We're going to talk about this. I thought this was cool. We'll talk about this when we have time. Apparently, there was like some crazy hike for them. I guess it's just a Duke Field thing. I'm not familiar with Duke's Field like that, so we can get into this deeper at a later point. But we're trying to finish up a recap in this game, and we'll pop in here. We'll pop in here. This is of course that pick six, and I want to finish this by saying Mike Norvell is about to be a paid retired coach, and that must be a silver lining for him. Because as much as I'm sure a lot of Florida State faithful, I'm sure, a lot of people in the area, I'm sure a lot of, people who played for him really think that he can be great and will be great and is a great coach. I think that's undeniable. But I think something that's also undeniable is just the landscape of college football in the way that these athletic directors, especially a historic team and a historic program like Florida State, the fickleness, the lack of patience, if you will. I don't see how he survives this season. I hope he does. I hope I'm wrong, dog. I hope he isn't a retired coach and gets paid handsomely to be retired and play golf. It'd be retired. But the reason why I say I kind of hope he does too, because this can't be fun, dog. I saw him on that sideline. It just all the drop passes, it just seemingly misassigned. The penalties, dog. Can we look at can we bring up the penalty stats, please? Because I feel like, especially at the end there, they were just getting called for penalties, punting, kicking, returns, kick returns, interceptions. Do we? Can I get some penalties? Oh, this is where we do it. Boom. Total yards, rushing, interceptions, turnovers, penalties. While Duke had 5 for 44, Florida State had 9 penalties for 65 yards. Looking at the third down efficiency, like it's something that I always I point out heavily when you come to look at these games. Again, just to close out the last point, I'm really hoping the fickleness of Florida State doesn't get to Mike Norvell. I think he's going to be decent for this. He got a really bad hand. He got DJU, who had a lead in his shoes, and then now Brock Glenn's got to show up. And these receivers do not want to catch any single balls at all. But bright spots in the defense for Florida State, so that's something. That's kind of a little bit. I don't know. But yeah, let's look at some third down efficiencies. Again, Duke is horrendous. 3 for 17 for third downs, but a 2 for 14 from Florida State is not going to get you anywhere. 2 for 3 for fourth downs for Florida State. You know what I'm saying? So there you go. Total yards. I need to get into. Hold up, I didn't even get to these bits. So I was accruing tweets. First off, this was like, come on, dog. Like, come on, dog. Like, right in the armpit. How do you just right in the armpit here? They missed a field goal after throwing a pick six. I was keeping count. I had a few of these lined up because it was just so abysmal, so quick. They threw the pick six, but here we go. Hey, here's the go. Last field goal, pick six, lost fumble. That was just right off the rip right there. But dang, I had some stats that was like their total yards at one point at the half. They were leading in total yards, but then, of course, here we go. FSU is averaging 5.8 yards per play to Duke's 2.2 yards. Seminoles were trailing at 14-3. So, yeah, think about that. They were a more potent, more efficient offense. They had 291 total yards to Duke's 180 total yards. Duke had 70 passing yards, dog. 70 passing yards, 50% completion percentage. Oh, well, actually, look at that. Florida State had less than 50% passing completion. So that's phenomenal. Infinitely more interceptions thrown from Florida State. Look, man, if you're a Florida State fan, you knew it was going to be a hard season, man. But I don't think you knew it was going to be this tough. This is pretty embarrassing. But again, it's not Brock Glenn's fault. When your receivers aren't catching anything, when your offensive line is being a little inconsistent, when your defense doesn't want to show up in bigger ways. And I know it's hard to say how much more can your defense show up because Duke's defense literally scored, but that's literally what you would have to do, Florida State defense. I'm sorry about it, but that offense is lethargic. Duke's offense is completely embarrassing. They had amazing field possession. They didn't have to really go far, so they didn't really get tested. And I want to point this out. When we talk about strength of schedules, you talk about a soft schedule. Elon, Northwestern, UConn, and that was a close one against Northwestern. Now that was a close one against UConn. Now I think that was an overtime game, 45-17 to Middle Tennessee. You beat North Carolina barely. You lose Georgia Tech, and then now you beat Florida State barely. I think they're going to get smashed by SMU, smashed by Miami. I don't know about NC State. They're going to get smashed by Virginia Tech. The end of this is going to be a very, very slow time, or a very hard time for Duke. They're going to be a team that people just kind of tee off on. But, hey, man, I hope you Florida State fans, I hope y'all have a secondary team. I gotta be honest with you. Hope you like this video if you like it. Dislike the video if you don't like it. Subscribe if you enjoy college football content. We'll see you next time.